week of there we are. It's another week of This Week in Google Glass. I gotta wait for things to bing bang boom and then go from there. It's another week of This Week in Google Glass. It's episode number 50, 550. I can't do that. 5 and 0. There we go. 50. We're here 50 like this. And we're here, or is it like this? There we go. 50 episodes. And did I say 50 episodes? And we've got Makerbot here. Well, we've got Marco from Makerbot here. He's going to show you some cool stuff you can do with 3D. We've got some news going and so on and so forth. I'm going to stop babbling because you're now watching another episode of This Week in Google Glass, the non-opera edition. Hey everybody, Jeffrey Powers here from Geekazine, Think Magazine, Put in a Geek, and yes, I've got the green screen shirt that just doesn't seem to fit right now. There we go. How you doing? You can find me over at Geekazine, and Geekazine's my Twitter handle, and of course Jeff at twig.tv, twigg.tv, or thisweekingoogleglass.com, because I just haven't fixed that lower third yet. And of course, as always, with me is my cohort in crime, Mr. Luke Wallace. How you doing, Luke?
Doing good tonight, Jeff. Yeah, if you're looking for me, you can email me for this show at luke@twig.tv, or you can find me on Twitter at lukeluca, that's LUKELUCA, or on Google+, google.com/plus Luke Wallace.
All right, perfect. And how did you do anything this week? Do you have any cool pictures or anything like that you wanted to show?
No, pretty slow week again. Took some time off for... what was it? Labor Day, yeah. I guess, last week. So that was nice. But yeah, just kind of been staying around, getting back into the swing of things, with school zones on the commute and, just starting that fall time and watching all the big announcements and all the tech stuff that's coming up.
Oh, yeah. Of course, tomorrow is the big Apple event, iOS, iPhone 6, or the 8th generation iPhone.
Yeah, iPhone 6, the 8th one.
The 8th one. Yeah, that's otherwise known as it's going to be known as iPhone Air and iPhone Pro. And
yeah.
At least that's what the rumors are saying, and I believe it. I mean, it doesn't make sense to call it the iPhone 6. The iPhone 2 was the iPhone 3G. The iPhone 3 was the iPhone 3GS. The iPhone 4 was the only iPhone that was actually had the number to the name of the generation.
Yeah.
So leave it at that. But anyway, got big events coming up here very soon. I did take some pictures. Yeah, it was Labor Day. You guys had a great Labor Day, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. We've got Marco here. He doesn't have a lower third up. Marco, why don't you introduce everybody to who you are?
I'm Marco Nieves. I work research and development for Makerbot, and I'm just a really big 3D printing and Google Glass geek.
Okay, that was short and sweet. Wow. Yeah. Do you have a Twitter handle or anything like that?
Yeah, DSFXMN1 or Google Plus at plus Marco Nieves 82.
Okay, there you go. And of course, we're going to be talking with Marco in a few minutes. We're going to talk about 3D printed, basically 3D printed items for your Google Glass, and it's going to be really cool and stuff like that. First of all, go over to we've got our plus page, plus.google.com/plus this week in Google Glass, but we also have twig.tv and this week in googleglass.com. You can go over there, and I apologize, you'll see a couple flies flying around here. I don't know where the heck they just came from. They're just like, hey, there's cameras coming. Let's go. So that's what's happening if you see a fly on my forehead or something like that in a second. That's why. So, but anyway, if you go over to twig.tv, that's where you find out all the cool news and all the past episodes of Twig and everything that we've talked about in the past, and you can catch up on old episodes, subscribe to the show, find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter, find us on Google Plus, and all those other good things, and go from there. So, all right. That was a really loud car. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for that time of the evening. It's time for Big News, Little Arms. Thank you, Luke, for the sound effects. Of course, this is where we talk about the news of the week, and we actually have some very interesting news. The first and most important news is my 5th pair of Google Glass is broken, and it actually happened over the Labor Day weekend. They actually work. I can turn them on. For about 48 hours, all I saw in the optics was a white screen. And they had a setup. There's an actual cool way you can turn these on and reset them using the camera button. Do you guys know about this at all?
No, I didn't.
No. So basically what happens, because they showed me how to do this, you hold down the camera button, and then you keep holding on to it. You turn on the power button, and then you wait another 10 seconds. And it goes into some weird recovery mode. It's got a DOS-ish or a screen basically, which has text, and you're using the camera button to navigate through your options and select your options. So I did that, and then finally the optics went back in, but the power button never did. I can't turn these on. I can plug them in, and they'll turn on, but then I can't turn them off until the battery's drained. Right now the battery's dead on these. So this leads me into this little article right here. And this is over at theweek.com. The Mounting Google Glass Rebellion. I got this in Twitter and email form about 50 times this week. And basically this is a bunch of people just sitting there going, "Oh yeah, Google Glass, it's stupid, it's not going to go anywhere, it's blah 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 blah, it's everybody hates it." And that's the key right there. They said everybody hates Google Glass. And I'm looking at this article, and I hate the article in a whole. And this also comes up apparently over on my friends over at geekbeat.tv, John and Callie. Love them to death. John came on, and he bashed the hell out of Google Glass. Excuse me for the strong language, but he bashed the hell out of Google Glass, saying things like, with the frames they're top heavy, and if you wait and get all the frames and after the prescription, it goes past that first 30-day period, and it's not worth it. And to be perfectly honest, after reading this article, I completely agree. It's not worth it for you. And you're going, wait, what are you talking about? And the reality is, it's not worth it for you. Not worth it for you. You know, if you're just going to complain about it, it's just not worth it for you. It's worth it for me. Luke, is it worth it for you?
Yeah, no, I've had a great experience with it, and I have not had anyone openly hostile towards it in person ever.
Yep.
And there have been hundreds, maybe thousands of people that I've been around, talked to with it, and never seen a single one be openly hostile. Like he seems to say, everyone he encounters. So I'm wondering, is it the glass at all? That would be my question.
Exactly. Marco, you're in New York. You're in one of the most populated areas in the United States. Do you get the hate? Is it not worth it for you?
It's totally worth it for me. I have never gotten any hate at all, and I get stopped on the street all the time. People, "Oh my God, those are so cool.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about them?" You know, things like that. But I never got any hate about it. I never had any problems with them except for the foil on the side.
Which is well, you're getting the foil, but you can walk down to the Google and get that replaced because you live in New York.
Yeah.
Dang you. Anyway, do I hate my pair of Google Glass? Right now, yes, I hate the design of the Google Glass because I know that sweat gets in these buttons, and I know my sweat can kill a pair of Google Glass because that's what it did right here. Because that's what happened. It was a hot day. I sweat on them, and then it started acting up. The two events that I've taken it out where it's been hot outside, my Google Glass has reacted adversely to them. Now, with that said, I love my pair of Google Glass. And you're going, why would you love something that breaks all the time and you complain about the customer service? That's because it's not about the Google Glass. It's not about the experience. It's about the other experiences that I'm supposed to be getting with it. Like I said from the beginning, the second I got my Google, the one thing I asked them about was, "What's the customer service going to be like?" And they said, "We want to blow your socks off with customer service." And I've yet to see that happen once, just once, with all the Google Glass. I know you have to go through the troubleshooting steps, but when I called, well, first of all, I don't get to call them anymore. I get to go to a web page where they then dial me and then hook me up with an operator. It doesn't take a long time, so I'm not too worried about it. But the person that I talked to would not go through the steps with me. She said, "Well, let me email you back," and go through a long, lengthy 3-day email period of me just giving you stuff that you've already done and you said you've already done. So then I get the first email. Have you tried reboot or restarting or doing the fresh reboot? Yes, I've done that fresh reboot. Have you done this? Yes, I have done this, because that's what we talked about in the phone call. And with a 3-day period, I got customer service. It was horrible to customer service. If I was a customer service person, and I have been a customer service person, if I would have done that, I would have been fired in 3 days. I don't understand their customer service. I really don't. And now they said they'll send me a box. That happened on Thursday. I got the label. I'm waiting for a box or a pair of Google Glass or something. I'm supposed to be getting something in the mail, but they haven't said when it's going to happen. I haven't gotten any notification of a UPS package coming, because I've come to that point. So to me, it's not about the glass. I love the glass. I love the fact that I can take a picture. I love the fact that I can talk to somebody and all of a sudden I get a message, a tweet or something like that. And I can look up and I can go, "Hey, this isn't a problem. I love this. This is great." And oh yeah, I got to take this message because this is an important phone call, or this is an important tweet I got to take care of, and then go from there. And as you can see, my glass just probably popped on right now. So, and I don't know how that happened, but at any rate, it's all this back and forth. I love Google Glass, and here's the reality. No matter how you look at it, Google Glass is here to stay. Watches are here to stay. Wearable technology clothing is here to stay. And you're saying, "Well, I don't want to wear this dumb thing on my head." Of course you're not going to wear this dumb thing on your head, but you're going to get a pair of Ray-Bans one of these days, and it's going to have technology of Google Glass inside. It's inevitable. And now my Google Glass is just rebooted a second time. It's inevitable. And you'll have dumb glass and you'll have smart glass. This is smart glass. Just like smartphones. I'm not going to get a smartphone. Did you guys know? I just found this out. 20 years ago, we had, on August 16th of 1994, first smartphone. We've had smartphones for 20 years now. You probably didn't even realize that. Most of you out there are probably thinking, "Oh, 2007, that's when the first smartphone happened." No. 1997 was when smartphone was coined, but it was 1994 that the first smartphone came out. So 20 years of smartphone. Isn't that wild? Anyway, I'm off my soapbox there. Yeah, sorry. I'm off my soapbox there, but I hate these people that come out with these articles saying everybody hates Google Glass and Google Glass is going to go absolutely nowhere. Guess what? You are wrong. 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 And you can get paid $125 to write that article, because you're going to get a few thousand people that are going to read that article and complain about it or say, "Yeah, you're absolutely right." But you are wrong. It's not going to go away, just like the phone isn't going to go away, just like Bluetooth isn't going to go away, just like the automobile is not going to go away. It's here to stay. So get over it. Whatever you have with it. Off the soapbox now. Luke, what's the next article?
So if you like that article, you'll probably love this next article, which is about someone who created a device. It's called the Cyborg Unplug, which is kind of a trolly name in my mind. But basically, the idea is it's a little router that you can plug in that will prevent surveillance devices. Now that should probably be in quotes or something, from connecting to your Wi-Fi network. So they use some MAC address querying and some other techniques to find out what kind of devices are trying to connect to your Wi-Fi. And the reason this relates to Glass is Google Glass is apparently one of these high surveillance devices that needs to be restricted from connecting to your Wi-Fi network. So if you plug this thing in, Google Glass will not be able to connect to your Wi-Fi network, even if the Google Glass user, tries to hook it up and attach it to your Wi-Fi network. Tries to log in basically to your Wi-Fi network. It also applies to drones that people try to connect to their Wi-Fi network. I'm not sure if there was anything else in particular, but other surveillance devices were apparently supported. I'm guessing they'll roll out little software updates or something that'll let you kind of enhance it as new devices come out to block them. So what they do make clear in the article is this doesn't actually prevent Google Glass from recording video and storing it locally. At best, this prevents it from connecting to the internet, downloading, the latest information, Google searches, or getting notified about emails or Hangout messages, and then sending those videos or pictures that it has, to social networks or sharing them or whatever. But it doesn't actually prevent the device from taking the pictures. So I'm not really sure if it really is, doing everything that it claims or doing everything that people might think it does. So, but if you want to keep Google Glass off your Wi-Fi network, this is definitely one option.
All right. Next up, Google Glass can tell if you're stressed. And I got to reload. My flash just died on me. So anyway, there's a new app out there that is going to tell you. Let me, I got to click this so you guys can see the article we're looking at. So there's a new way to a new app out there that will monitor some vitals, simple vitals, so you can tell if you're a little bit stressed out. I don't know if it has a full heart rate sensor on it or not, but it's called the name of the app is called BioGlass, and it'll determine how stressed out you are and how much work you're going. I'm guessing it's trying to use it through the eyepiece and trying to figure out data. So I don't know what the accuracy is on this, but it looks like a very interesting app out there, and some of the first possibilities to biometrics to health glass. And I think we have a long way to go with that anyway, because we still need to have proper sensors put onto glass to monitor things, because you got your temple right here and it can monitor that easily. So interesting stuff. All it's doing is recording data. They could do a lot more, like get instructions on stress relieving breathing exercises. So if it can tell that you're stressed out, it says, hey, relax, here's a nice meadow to look at, or something like that. Or unless you're getting stressed out from Google Glass, then I don't think there's anything you can do on that. So, but if you want to read more on that, go over to Engadget.com.
So Android users may be familiar with Google Play. It's the equivalent of iTunes for Android. It's where you download apps, music, movies and television now. But Google Play also sells hardware. They sell things like the Nexus devices, which are created by Google. They also sell the new smartwatches. So there's the LG G Watch, the Samsung Gear Live, and the new Moto 360 are all available there. And now someone noticed in just the past couple of days, they've actually added Google Glass Explorer Edition, which is basically the edition that everyone has up to this point. Those Explorer editions are now available on Google Play. So you've been able to get Chromecasts and even hardware from partners like Nest on Google Play for some time now. But Google Glass is now up there for public consumption, listed alongside all of these other hardware devices that Google sells. So people aren't really sure what this means. If it's, the beta modifier has been removed, they don't call it Glass Beta anymore. They use this Explorer Edition still, which is kind of the early name for Google Glass, or kind of a early edition of Glass is called this Explorer Edition. But we've talked about the terms of service being updated a week or two ago. And so I don't know exactly, what this means long term, but glass is definitely coming out of, kind of the secret beta areas and now into the public on Google Play.
Secret beta areas. I like how you said that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's Batman. It's Google Glass Man. Anyway, so.
Yeah.
And then finally, Google Glass is getting under fire in New Jersey. Bill by Assemblyman Jason O'Donnell could ban wearable head-mounted computers such as Google Glass. It's also there's been a lot of questions on that. There's a big issue on I guess a police officer or something like that was texting while driving, but he was working because he was getting a text from a sergeant, and he ended up in an accident. And this is not the first time or first place that's happened. It's happened in several different places. But anyway, they're trying to get they're one of 8 states that are trying to get legislation to ban things such as Google Glass while driving. And so they're going for this. This is just, Bill, it's not the law by any means yet. But you could definitely, especially if you wear prescription glasses, you'll definitely will need to have another pair of glasses in the car while driving. But once again, eventually, it's not going to make much of a difference because even your glasses will have some sort of smart ability to it down the road. So, but he goes, as Google Glass becomes more widely available, you're going to see legislators all over mandate that you can't wear these when you are driving. So that's over in New Jersey. And I could go on another rant about that, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. So, and that is, you can find this over at nj1015.com. We've got all the links in the show notes over at twig.tv. And that is big news, little arms. I like how you switched that thing up there. That's
yeah.
Pretty cool. So, all right, now let's get into cool stuff here. We got Marco here. Marco.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody's gonna say polo. Sorry.
Yeah. I was thinking. I almost did.
How many times do people do that for you? You're probably going, okay, I'm done with this show. I'm out of here. I'm done. The New York attitude. I'm done. So.
You get used to it after a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it
happens way too often.
Yeah, it's like Jeff. They make fun of Jeff all the time. Okay. So, how are things at Makerbot?
Things on Makerbot are going pretty well.
Now, I remember coming to CES, and I remember when Makerbot was little Makerbot. It was like baby Makerbot, and it's like we have this 3D printer. It's like whoa, 3D printer, and we were all over that like a 3D printed item, and you guys have grown to such an enormous size, and of course you got bought out and everything like that. So it's just and that just didn't even form a complete sentence there. It's one of the greatest things. A lot of people, we were talking about it right before, and Luke goes, I want a 3D printer, but not yet. I'll get one soon, and I'd love to get a 3D printer, but not yet because I don't have a real need for it. I mean, I'd love to build bits and pieces for my cameras. I'd love to build bits and pieces for the show, but in the end, they're just going to be stupid little trinkets and stuff like that. So
it's funny that you mentioned camera because I just printed this today for my DSLR. It's to put on my camera strap and just hold the lens caps on there when I'm not using them.
Oh, really? Oh, that's pretty cool. Can you make one for me?
Yeah, sure.
How many times do you get? Somebody's. Yeah. Okay. So how many times do you get somebody that comes? Can you make something for me? Can you make this for me? Can you make that for me?
I got that a lot of times with the stretchy bracelets. I don't know if you've seen those around.
Yeah.
They're all over thingiverse.com. So I've gotten that a lot with that because I did a lot of cool things with them. When I first got a 3D printer, I would make multicolored ones by changing the filament out during different layers.
Okay. Luke, is there anything that you want from Makerbot?
Ooh, there are all these little trinkets and stuff. I mean, little There are those little 3D chess sets that are always kind of interesting with like lots of little detail on all the little pieces. But yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat where I keep looking for opportunities to use it, and occasionally it comes up, but it feels like there's just not quite enough utility that it's not worth waiting. Because if there were a whole lot of things I needed to print it out today, then it'd be worth getting today. But if it's like, well, I'm not going to even print very much for 6 months or a year, well, I should probably just wait a year because there'll be a new version of Makerbot or some other 3D printer that might, it'd be a little bit better. So, by waiting, I'm just going to be getting a better 3D printer when I finally do take the plunge. I would wonder, Marco, what are some of the useful things that you found that maybe people don't think about? Like you kind of mentioned a DSLR, lens cap strap. Are there other useful things that people just don't realize you could even print out?
Well, I was recently experimenting with some flexible filament. It's plastic, but it's still it feels like rubber.
Hmm.
And I modeled and printed out some grips for my bicycle,
Oh, okay.
and that's pretty cool because I know my hands, so I printed out the most comfortable grips that I could find for my hands,
Hmm.
and it's completely customized to my hands. So that's something cool that you can do and is useful. Um, my kitchen cabinets, some of the handles broke off of them, so I printed some new ones.
Ah.
You get like little, you can whatever geeky thing start. Maybe make some stormtrooper handles and stuff like that. So you can use the cupboard and go from there. Actually, there was a news story this morning about a kid who got a hand printed up. He was born without his left hand or something like that, and they printed up it was $50, and now he has something that can just basically do this.
Yeah, the
It's
RoboHand.
amazing.
I first heard about that about a year ago when I first started with Makerbot, and it was pretty cool. I mean, there's a lot of information on it. It's all open source and it's all on Thingiverse, so
Yeah.
anybody could just go on Thingiverse and recreate the RoboHand.
So this by the way is MakerBot's website, where you can get MakerBots, and they have on the far right they have what's called a digitizer, which basically you put an item in there. It's like a little turntable. You might not see that from yeah, there it is. The little turntable, so it can figure out. It can take a 3D model and make it into a 3D model, or take a 3D object and make it into a 3D model, so you can print out more and go from there, and that's pretty cool. So what's the biggest thing that you've ever done? And do you do it for a client, or did you do it for yourself?
Most of the things that I do are for myself, and I think the biggest and coolest thing to me was the bicycle grips that I just mentioned,
Okay.
because it was a real need that I had because I like riding bicycle and all the other grips beforehand made my hands fall asleep. Now they don't fall asleep anymore.
How far do you normally drive or ride your bike in a day?
Um, Usually I can get on my bicycle and go pretty much the whole perimeter of Manhattan.
Okay. So you'll take a good hour of riding your bike. I'm just trying to figure out how, because you said your hands go numb after a while.
A good hour, 2 hours. Sometimes I go crazy and stay out 4 or 5.
Okay. Cool. You could be a bike carrier or something like that. My Google Glass just shut down, by the way. So, all right. Well, you do have. We could talk. We're just babbling back and forth. But you did bring some little bits and pieces for Google Glass.
Yep.
So why don't we get into what you got right now and go from there? So what do you got
All right.
to begin with?
Well, the first one, it's titled "Glass Speaker Extension" by a user called Technophobe. And it's pretty cool. And let me see if I can hold it so it can be seen on the camera. It's that little thing, and if you notice, it looks like the bone conducting speaker on the back of glass. Basically, what it does is you use some rubber cement and you put it on the speaker, and it helps you hear because it helps it make contact with your head.
Okay.
And it works pretty well because I've used it I didn't have rubber cement, so it fell off. But I've used it and it makes the speaker much more usable than it normally is.
Yeah, I suppose with the rubber cement, it also because you're throughout the day your glass goes like this,
Hmm.
and therefore, yeah, I suppose you need this rubber cement to keep that on, or else it was just gonna pop off eventually. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, I remember many times, I get a phone call or something like that. I gotta plug my ear up just to hear what's going on in the
yeah.
conversation. I don't even use my glass for anything audio related
I
if
mean,
I have to hear it.
I've used it a couple of times, but I usually use the earbud,
Exactly.
which, by
Exactly.
the way, I also have this little printed thing on it,
What is
which
that?
it's if you go on GitHub and search Zach Friedman, you can find the files for this. And basically, it's so you plug the that in, and when you're using it's in your ear. But when you're not using it, you can stick it to the side, and it's just there, out of your way.
Is that
Oh.
is that magnetic or something?
Yeah, you glue a magnet into it right there,
Okay.
and yeah,
Huh.
it holds it there. When you need to use it, you pull it back, and it just holds it out of your way.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
How long does that take to make something like that?
That one took about 20 minutes.
Yeah, I definitely could use that. I don't even know where my mono bud is anymore. It's probably sitting in a box somewhere. So, Luke, do you have your mono bud nearby?
Uh, I don't know. I was looking for it. Not handy, apparently.
Okay. Well, we know where our mono buds are. So,
Yeah, obviously we use them all the time.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So, all right, Marco, what else you got for us to show off?
Another thing I have is this, which is a camera cover for glass. And if you go on Thingiverse and you search for improved glass camera cover by Zach Friedman, you can find the files for this. And basically, it fits over the lens, over the glass.
What's it called again?
Improved glass camera cover by username the Zach Friedman.
Okay.
And it's it's pretty cool because you see it covers the camera for situations where you might not want to have the camera exposed, but there's also a little hole in it so that the ambient light sensor can still work.
Okay. There's a 3D model of it with the little hole in there. So, well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like how that slides around the crystal, so it'd be very hard, it seems like, for that to bump off or pop off just, walking around.
Yeah, and it has a little curve, so it snaps in also.
Hmm, nice.
What happens when you take it off? Is there a way to like move it out of the way so it's still on the glass, but not so it's not sitting in your pocket or anything like that?
No, you'd have to pull it completely off.
Okay, that'd be a good case for another little magnet, and you can put it on the side of your glass or something like that.
It would. I should try to make that.
Yeah, maybe a bracelet or something like that with a whole bunch of magnets, and it could be your what do they call those? What do they call those bracelets with the uh you see them all the time on TV. It's like she went to K Jewelers or something like that for the
Mhm.
Oh, Sephora?
is that what they're called?
I think that's one of the brands that's popular right now, or
Yeah,
that they're
you can get them
pushing
with
real hard.
you can get them with like you can get them with like soccer shoes
Yeah,
or
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah.
Little
Charm bracelet,
Charm
charm
basically.
bracelets.
Yeah.
bracelets.
Yeah, that's it. So we can have Google Glass charm bracelets. That would be cool. So there you go, free for you to design. So
Um,
what else have we got today?
I've also got this, which, if you've ever been out in the sun with your glass, you know that sometimes the sun can make it hard to see your screen.
Okay.
So this I think I made this one a little too big because it's sliding off, but it slides over the prism to give you a black backdrop so that you can see the screen a lot better in sunlight.
Okay. Especially when you don't have foil on your Google Glass anymore, right?
Yeah, like mine because of all the humidity in New York.
There's no humidity in New York. Come on.
Ah, it's been so humid here lately.
Yeah. I think you have to preach to Luke's choir right there.
Yeah, it's yeah. We're used to humidity down here and 100 degrees, so um, but it's cool enough.
It's been pretty close over here the past week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Always
It
in
was
the
nice.
90s.
It was actually cool here. I had the lights on and everything. I had an interview today, and I wasn't sweating at all. And now here it is. It's evening. I got the windows open, and I'm sweating more right now than I was this morning. That's crazy. So, all right. Well, you also have one more thing for us there.
Yeah, I have this, and it looks like just a 3D printed glass logo, but it's not. Basically, this is for your desk, and it's a stand for glass. And if you have shades over here, it has a slot for the shades too. And this one is called Another Glass Desk Base by Lucky
Okay.
Punk.
Lucky Punk.
Yeah, I like that a lot because it's got the kind of incorporates that glass logo.
Yeah, it's really nice, and it's there's a few other stands on Thingiverse, but they all require you to assemble them, and this one doesn't. You print it and you color that in with a Sharpie if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so
But
yeah. Okay.
it's print and use, basically.
That's a
Really simple.
very basic design, and it also has a Tetris feel to it. You know what I would do to this? What I would add to this is on the bottom, I would put a lip. So if I have my Google Glass on, and let's say I just want to take my smartphone out, that could
Mhm.
turn into a smartphone stand just as easily.
I thought about that too. I want to try and make that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see what happens. Keep us in the loop on if that works, how that works, and so on and so forth. So, but that looks pretty cool. I definitely would want to get one of those.
It
It
is extremely cool and very useful.
can it be charging while it's like that too? Like I assume that
Yeah,
doesn't block the charging port.
on the bottom right here, it has routing options for the cord. So you
Hmm.
can stick it out the back and loop it around and plug it into charge.
Nice.
Now, there's one thing. We talked about, we salivated over the fact that we want 3D printers. But the reality is we can go get a lot of this stuff printed, and we don't have to ask you for printing. I mean, things like Amazon they're now doing 3D printing options. And I know I saw a few of them at the different events that I've been at in the last 8 months that have basically said, yeah, send us your designs and we'll print them up for you, and this is what it's going to cost. And it could be anything from making a stand for Google Glass to making a little miniature set, 3D set or something like that for your miniatures, your role playing games and stuff like that, and go from there. So
Yeah,
it, go ahead.
there's a lot of services like that. There's iMaterialize, Solid Concepts, Shapeways. If you search online, I'm sure you can find more. There's a lot of places that you can go and get things printed for you.
Okay. So what is your do you like make 3D printed items all day, or what's your role there?
My role there is testing new hardware. Everything that we want to try to put into our new 3D printers goes through me first, and I test it and see if it's viable.
Oh, okay. So is there
And
anything cool coming down the way that
I can't say much, but there's definitely some cool stuff in the works.
is there one there's gonna be like a two stream printing or something like that? Is that ever gonna happen?
Well, there's if you look on the Makerbot website, there's the Replicator 2X, which has two extruders. so you
Okay.
can print in 2 colors.
Cool. Did you test the food ones too? Make
No, I
cupcakes and
haven't.
stuff like that? No?
I
Luke,
wish.
Luke, I know you love the cupcakes.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Or muffins, whatever. I mean, unfrosted or frosted, I like them either way. But yeah, I think that yeah, I don't know about 3D printed food. I've seen a few things out there. I don't know if yeah, some cookies and stuff and some sugar stuff and like I don't know, maybe I'll wait, but I have seen different ones. You talked about printing in kind of a rubbery plastic, something that ends up kind of approximating rubber. Uh, how many different materials does Makerbot support, like different types of plastic or whatever?
Well, right now, the MakerBots all specialize in using PLA, which is short for polylactic acid, which is a biodegradable plastic that
Hmm.
comes from corn. And the Replicator 2X prints in ABS, which is it's also a good material to print in, but it shrinks a lot as it cools, so
Mm.
a lot of things can get warped as you print them.
Or you start printing something out and all of a sudden it gets smaller and doesn't fit. So you compensate for that, right?
Yeah, mostly you have to try and compensate for, the edges lifting off of the build plate with that
Mm.
material.
Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry, Luke. I thought you were going to say something there.
Oh no, yeah, I just think that's interesting. So yeah, I've seen other printers. I've seen different 3D printers use different types of material. So I think that that's really um,
Yeah,
I
there's
don't know.
some.
I'm not sure where it's going to end up. I'm not sure what's going to win, or if there's going to be three or four things that people like to print stuff in. And I don't know. What do you have any opinion on that? Of kind of where you're seeing the industry go?
There's definitely room for a lot of different techniques out there. I mean, right now, Uh, there's there's a ton of different materials coming out at the moment. There's ceramic filament that is basically ceramic with plastic fill. There's wood filament. Um, there's Ninjaflex, which is what I printed my bike grips in, and
Okay.
it's that one. That one I have the most experience with. It's really cool for printing flexible things like bracelets and stuff like that.
Okay. So we can get a more of a rubbery. Okay, that'd be cool because me and James Festini want to see this, and that is possibly because look at it. Well, you can't see it right now, but I got sweat right on this thing right now. So maybe a little piece that goes across here and covers the power button, and then kind of lifts up and holds right there, kind of like a shield of some sort.
That
So when we
actually would
sweat
not
on
be
it.
too hard to model.
All right. How do you model? I've never done the modeling part, and I should probably do that sometime. Yeah, I'm assuming you need some sort of 3D modeling software, right?
There's some really good options out there right now for beginners. Autodesk has 2 really good beginner programs out there. One is browser based. It's Tinkercad at tinkercad.com, and that's where I actually started modeling when I first began. There's also 123D Create, I think it is. It's no 123D Design,
One,
and
two,
that's another
3D design.
yeah. And that's another good beginner program. There's also Google SketchUp, which I think they sold to another company now, but it's still called SketchUp.
Okay.
Um, what I do most of my designing in now is SolidWorks, but that is super expensive and not for beginners.
Yeah. I uh I do another show called iPad 365, and I remember Autodesk having a 3D modeling software for the iPad.
Yeah,
Um,
that's 123D Design.
That is 123D. Okay, so I actually do have it. Oh, that's cool. I also have Adobe, um, not Audition, but Adobe. I'm drawing a blank right now. Uh, what is it, Adobe Illustrator. Would something like that work, or?
Well, Illustrator is not really meant for 3D, but
Well,
it
they do
can
have
be
3D
used.
aspects to it.
They do, but um, usually that stuff from Illustrator goes to laser cutting and
Okay.
water jets and stuff like that. CNCs.
Okay. That's yeah. So you got there's different options. The 123 design, like I said, yeah, I've used that one, and I got it on my iPad. I think. Well, I bought it, so it's definitely on my iPad somewhere. But that's some great ways to get into modeling and figure it out. Put it up on what Thingiverse, right? Is that
Yeah,
the other one?
thingiverse.com.
Okay, cool. So, what anything happening in? Do you keep a close eye on things like Thingiverse and seeing anything that people are kind of working on that you'd like to try, but they're just not at that point to print out yet?
Um, there's a lot of things that I see on Thingiverse. I'm on Thingiverse almost every day. I hope no one from work is listening.
Is that a bad thing or?
Yeah, surfing Thingiverse instead of working.
Well, yeah. You shouldn't surf while you're working. You work while you're working. You surf afterwards, or on break. I don't know. Anyway,
One of the things that I saw that I actually tried to print but didn't print out too well is Google Glass earbud charm. It's basically a replacement for the the charms that come on your earbuds for
okay.
glass.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, you can put pretty much any kind of picture you want in there. I tried to print one with a Makerbot logo and it was not successful.
So it's like a cutout. They have a picture here. It's kind of not a great picture of an Android.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it looks kind of broken or something like that. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's that one's really hard to print because it does not have a flat bottom, which, means it doesn't
Mm.
stick all that great to the build plate.
Wouldn't you print it upside down though?
No, because the printer can't print in midair. I mean, it can do 45-degree angles, but
Oh, so
all
this
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 material,
actually does get printed with the top side down.
yes.
Okay, that's where I was going with that. So, and that still came out with this an okay but not a great version. And I'm assuming once the printers start to really refine even more than what they are now, that this will become something very more possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a little more possible on an SLA printer. Have you heard of those?
Those are the higher end ones, right?
Yeah, they basically have a, a reservoir of resin, and there's a little laser that um, hits the resin and solidifies it.
Okay.
And those printers can do things like this a lot better than the
Yeah.
extruder-based printers.
Could you make something like a I don't know, like a cookie cutter type thing where you place that onto the printer, the actual Android pattern, and then let the extruder print all over it, and then you just pop it out and it all disappears?
Um,
Did that make sense? That didn't make sense.
no, not really.
Okay, well, never mind.
It's a really
It's
interesting idea of like putting something down on the build plates and instead of starting from nothing, like having some sort of support structure or
yeah.
something that you could build
Oh yeah.
around that um, is that is that something that's
It's yeah.
supported by 3D
That's
printers?
yeah. That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking, like a reverse cookie cutter effect.
Yeah.
there's support material and rafts, but for s- for certain things it works out well. For certain things it doesn't. Support material on something like the Replicator 2X that has more than one extruder works out very well because you can print the main object in the plastic that you want, and you print the
Hmm.
support material in PVA, which dissolves in water. So then you have you have this finished piece that you put into water for 24 hours and the support dissolves away, as opposed to you just having to go in there and frustratingly break off
Little
pieces of
pieces
support
and then
material.
Yeah, I've had to do that before
yeah.
with some 3D prints I've gotten from relatives that sent them to me or gave them to me. So yeah, I like that idea, but I do think it'd be interesting. Um, like let's say you could have it print like let's say a 2 by 2 inch square, and then it prints that down, and then it says, okay, I'm gonna wait, and then you put in like this cube in that little box, or or something, like a little block in there, and then it would build up around that instead of having to print a whole lot of support material that you were just gonna throw away. I wonder if there's any way to do that. I don't know if the extruders could actually get around those kind of blocks, but it'd be interesting to have something that would kind of cut out the need to use as much support material.
Um, I guess if you're clever enough, you can design something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think the
The
printer would have to support it as well, because otherwise they'll just build support structure through all that. So
the
Well, that'd be
closest
interesting.
thing,
I got to patent that. Is what I got to do.
No, but the interesting thing is, if somebody was thinking about it, they could take a bunch of toothpicks,
Hmm.
and they could take this toothpicks and build a structure, let's say a wireframe or something like that around it, and then if they have the extruder, if the extruder can move around the toothpicks on the outer shell to create the ultimate item, then you have that,
Yeah,
or a wireframe by using I don't know, paper clips or it's
yeah, yeah,
clippable wire or something like that.
hmm. Yeah. Interesting. Like kind of augmenting it with some other material that you provide. But yeah, I don't know. It's probably a ways out.
What other what other wearable technology are you seeing getting a lot of 3D printing attention?
um, hmm,
I mean, you have
I haven't
watches.
really,
You have watches, and now they're getting into clothing, especially during sports times. You get the wearable technology all over the clothing to figure out if somebody's got a concussion, or figure out if they're being overworked or something like that. So first of all, that's with the watch craze. Is everybody making the little bands like we had with our swatches back in the 80s and 90s or anything like that?
I've seen a lot of 3D printable watch bands on Thingiverse. There's mostly for regular watches,
Okay.
and I've seen a couple for the Pebble. I haven't really seen that much. The new batch of Android Wear devices aren't on. I haven't seen anything for them on Thingiverse yet,
Okay.
but I'm sure somebody will design it because somebody always designs something for.
And that's the coolest thing about this is, the sky's the limit right now. I mean, I
Yeah,
can I can make a 3D printout of myself, just bust and head and everything like that, and just kind of sitting here in front of the camera if I had a 3D printer that was able to do something like that. And I could, as long as I buy the extruder stuff, the old joke, the 3D printer can make a 3D printer type thing. You could literally make a big 3D printer to make a life size doll of me or something like that if you wanted to.
yeah, you could. I had a friend who had a friend of his
He made a
print
life size
out.
doll of me.
Yeah, totally. He's a big
Oh,
fan.
that's wow. Well, thank you, I guess.
No, he had a friend with a 3D printer, and he had his friend print out a bunch of parts, and he assembled his own 3D printer from that.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
But you still,
obviously, he had to buy all the metal rods and
yeah,
connections. You can't print those yet.
yeah. But that's you go down to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever, and you get that stuff, and then you go up to Makerbot for other parts, correct?
Makerbot doesn't really sell parts, but there's definitely a lot of resources for people who are looking. There's the whole RepRap community for people who want to build their own 3D printers.
Okay. Getting back to Google Glass, have you made your own pair of frames yet?
Not yet, but I've been fooling around in SolidWorks for in my own spare time trying to make something cool, but they all look really weird at the moment.
Yeah.
Would you, Luke? Would you want to get a pair of 3D printed glasses?
I think it'd be a really neat idea, especially if you could customize it so the frames could, you know, do whatever. It'd be really interesting if you could use the exact same lens sizes as like these. So like whatever these are, the split or whatever these frames are that I got, so that I could take the lenses out and put them in a custom set of frames. So if you do that, then anyone who has that particular prescription frame from Google could pop their lenses out and use, you know, whatever the custom one. Otherwise, you'd have to go try to get custom lenses made for every set of frames, and that'd be really expensive. So if you could find some kind of standard size to use, or the sizes that people already have.
Well, that's where digital calipers come in. You measure the lenses and design around it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we could finally have a pair of Google Glass that you can actually fold up. That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, you make those. You probably get a lot of people going after them. So.
Why don't do they have? Has anybody tried to make a pair of glasses that actually fold up?
Not that I've seen. There's a couple of 3D printable sunglasses on Thingiverse, but those don't fold up yet because it's kind of hard to 3D print that.
Well, you gotta 3D print the parts, but then I suppose you need to get the hinges. That's pretty easy. You go down to your local Goodwill or something like that, and you buy a pair of old frames, and you just break them apart for those little hinges, and then you could actually put those hinges into the frames, right?
Or what I was thinking, I mean that's a good option also, but what I was thinking is to design like a little ball joint and just snap the pieces of the frame together.
Okay. Luke is showing a possible idea.
I can't see him for some reason.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a pair of glasses. He's showing the
So
foldability.
these were 3D printed. My uncle gave me these.
Okay.
He has a 3D printer.
Okay.
So when I went and visited him, they were printed up, and then he assembled them and put a little screw in the corners, and so it has a little hinge effectively. So so they don't fold up real well, but I mean pretty well. So
They fold up. That's the important thing.
they fold up. So
Yeah.
So how can you re-engineer that, Luke, to put Google Glass on that?
I don't know. I don't think it'd be too hard, but these sides would have to get a lot thinner, and I would wonder if they'd be strong enough.
Okay. Yeah, and I suppose that would block the sensor and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you could do it, but I think it takes some work.
Okay.
Well, you could probably do it with there's I heard there was a couple of companies experimenting with carbon fiber filaments and stainless steel filled filaments. So
Okay.
those could possibly be stronger and maybe have something that thin that won't break.
Well, there you go. So, all right. Well, we could go on from here, but I think we've got the point across here. We got some great stuff from Makerbot and Marco. I really appreciate the fact that you've brought some of the stuff here. Where do people go to find you if people want to get a hold of you?
I'm at plus Marco Nieves 82 at Google Plus or at DSFXMN1 on Twitter.
And Luke, you just got the fashion going right now.
Yeah, so if you're looking for me, I'm Luke Luca on Twitter. That's LukeLuca, or google.com/+Luke Wallace. Or for this show, you can email me, luke@twig.tv. That's TWIGG.tv.
I always find it interesting. These people. A lot of people now wear glasses without lenses in them.
Yeah.
Just because they have colorful frames and stuff like that. It's amazing. It's like in 2003, I wanted to take my glasses off and never wear them again. Yeah, I have these.
When I was a kid, everyone made fun of the kids with glasses like me. So seems odd. I'm like, you're not. I don't. How can that be cool? Like it was. Everybody
Just
made fun of him.
Just remember, geek is the new chic.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, Marco, once again, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it, and you're more than welcome to come back if you have any other 3D printed stuff, or if you just want to hang with us and go from there.
All right, cool. Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Not a problem. My name is Jeffrey Powers. Thanks a lot for watching. Sorry about the rant at the beginning of the show, but the reality is, I see these articles all the time. I get pointed to these articles all the time, and I'd say about 95% of those people that write those articles put glass on for a week and never touch them again. So that's why I have a problem with that stuff. So, but I won't get back on the soapbox. I'll just leave it at that. Next week, what do we have? We're gonna be back next week, right, Luke?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Same bat time, same bat channel.
All right, cool. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. You can go over to twig.tv, twigg.tv, and catch the show, all past episodes. Feel free to drop us a line over Twig or Geekazine or Luke Luca, and go from there. So until next week, my name is Jeffrey Powers. You guys geek out, and we will see you next week on This Week in Google Glass. Take care.